Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items we have, shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of gunwebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And good evening, everybody who's showing up live to be part of the conversation today. I did the nerd equivalent of some kind of like burnout from like Smokey and the Bear or something, and got here just in time, I think, to get the show going right on time, right? Yeah, pretty close. So that worked out pretty good. I almost completely overshot the show, in other words, but for some reason I remembered that this was the time to start it. So right on, we got a bunch of people showing up live. Each week we take a look at the stuff that happened that's focused on the Second Amendment, and we post it on our YouTube channel. How am I going to get there? We posted on our YouTube channel earlier in the week and use the description of this video that we're watching right now to kind of use as notes for the show. So I like to start off each week, if I'm logged on to the right channel here. Man, I've been doing all kinds of stuff today, so I've been logged on to about every YouTube channel. Let's see. How was this week for 2A? Now, was this the first week of the year? I'm telling you this, for me, it was an amazing week. It's also been a horrible week, actually, in a couple of ways, but dealing from some things that ended up last year. But yeah, this is the first week of the year, so Every Second Matters was technically in this week. Let's see. It was a good week. I would have normally done this earlier, but let's see, just got here. Let's say it was okay. Or why don't we go with it was not a good week. All right, let us know. We got a poll option. No, didn't wrong thing. Getting the poll option here on the YouTube. We leave a quarter to a third of our screen here dedicated to y'all being here live. So we appreciate the live conversation. Couldn't think of the word. And we'll be paying attention. Now, I will say that sometimes I get going and then y'all keep chatting and I have to go back. But for the most part, we appreciate people chatting over there. In this case, appreciate people taking part of that poll. We'll go back and take a look at that later. Got some mods. Of course, unfortunately, lately, there's been a bunch of the craziness happening. So appreciate people being quick on the draw over there. So yeah, let's dig in. The description of this video has kind of the notes of the week as I go around doing things. Most of my work is done near or on a computer. So I use the description of this week's show as my notes for anything that has to do with 2A. So let's dig in a little bit. Sorry, it's super cold here. We should have grabbed another coat. I'm going to grab this blanket real quick. Just entertain yourselves. I'm grabbing a shawl, I guess. Again, I was just completely focused on something I was working on here. Looked up and went, uh-oh, it's time for the show. So I just barely turned on my heater. All right. Now I've got a sweatshirt, a shirt, and a blanket on. Let's go. All right. So the first thing is, I guess it was episode 73 of Latinos Locked and Loaded Latinos. They're at 699 subs. You telling me that somebody has the opportunity to be their 700th sub? Pretty good show this week. They did Every Second Matters. Actually, wait a minute. I don't even know if I seen the show this week. Did I see the show? I think I had to go back and watch it after. That's what happened. Pretty good show. I need to start leaving myself some notes here because these shows happened a week ago. I could barely remember Every Second Matters. What happened is I watched their show later because we did an Every Second Matters chat earlier that day. And in the off air, we had an amazing conversation. And it just completely blew through their show. So I went back and watched it after the fact. But they do not disappoint. I always have them at the top of the list because if you only have one thing to watch each week, I mean, they're not paying me. They're just good. Like, they do cover the news, which I don't really cover, but they cover news. At least if something important is on the horizon, you know, they're talking about it. They do a little bit of the movies and stuff like that. They do a little bit of the games. But mainly it's the point of view and the perspective as newer advocates and gun owners, and then people that are willing to dig right in. So really cool show to watch. Again, if you can only watch a couple of things each week, I'd put that on your list. Beyond that, we got Barbecue, who's right over here, saying I'm pulling Woods and gonna unsub them so I can resub. Oh, well, that's the rules. I mean, that's how YouTube works. You're allowed to do that kind of stuff. So that dude had a show, pretty good one last night. It does a show every once in a while. You can check that out. They do a show about meat tomorrow, but had a pretty simple question. What is 2A? And then what's the difference between an advocate and an activist? And with that simple premise, I think we had a pretty decent conversation. At least it gave us plenty to spin off on. And it was a full panel. A lot of people were interested in talking 2A. I think it was a great chat to kind of start out the month, even though, you know, it wasn't the first day of the month. It was one of the first chats of the month or year. A great way to start out the month and the year, I guess. Well, let's see. Then we got Crump talking about the ATF rule. So, you know, it's a good week for 2A, but does that mean the antis are going to quit working or they're going to quit trying to score points? They're going to come up and kick you in the shins constantly so that they can score points and earn money. So we can either ignore that or start to make it where they have no interest in kicking us in the shins. So at least Crump is paying attention to it. I don't know. There might have been other people paying attention to it, but nobody I'm paying attention to, really. Let's see. Then we had, why do I have just at Riding Shotgun with Charlie on here? I guess I didn't finish. This is probably... So I've got my essay written, and I've been working on it for... Yeah, this was when Riding Shotgun with Charlie was on Crump. So Crump does an interview show. He also does some news and stuff. This is, you know, after GOA fired him. So he had Riding Shotgun with Charlie on. It was a decent interview. Learned a bit about both of them. I guess Flying Rich is out there also. I think he's out here right now. He might have also been there, this dude. Let's see. So then we get, I kind of rank these in order. At least I try to put them in order of if you only have so much time, you know, this stuff up at the top is, you know, probably if you only have a certain amount of time to pay attention this week, you know, as you get to the top. And then as you get to the bottom, it's maybe the stuff that's less 2A, less like focused on activism or less important, not important, but imminent, like less timely. You know, stuff you can absorb later or whatever, just like general knowledge stuff. But some of it is just gold. And Massad Ayoob was just on live, not really live, in a premiere earlier today, like what, an hour ago? Not even. Just if you don't know who Massad Ayoob is, this is a great video to check out. I think it's like 12 minutes long, 14 minutes. It's not very long. And you'll get a great introduction to just experiencing what Mas is able to offer. He's always been an intelligent person who's able to get information across effectively and well, like more than well, like just it feels like it's just interesting. So I definitely recommend checking it out. And the topic of this one is instructing a new gun owner. And obviously Moss has dealt with people and dealt with instructors for a long, long time. So just a very effective, useful instruction. And then he summarizes. I mean, definitely watch it to the end. The summarization that Moss offers at the end of this thing, which pretty much kind of mic drops right at the end. There's not much ending, so it'll be right towards the end. Very well, apt, I guess the right word. So anyway, definitely worth checking that out. Definitely worth 14 minutes of your time. See, then we had Every Second Matters. Me and DJ were in there. Nobody else showed up because whatever. People don't like showing up for Every Second Matters every month. But whatever, that's what it's all about. People do what they want to do with it. I'm going to quit doing stuff with it, I think. So we'll see if anybody keeps going with it. I've done this before because I can't do everything, and Every Second Matters doesn't pay a bill. It actually costs some money. So it'll still exist, but I'm not going to keep putting out a room for no reason. It's just kind of frustrating to put out rooms and invite 30 people and nobody shows up except for a couple of regulars who are going to, just kind of being nice. So we'll keep going with other projects. I got definitely lots of other ideas for this year. Let's see. So next up would be the Supreme Court. Oh, okay. So this was Jared had a chat earlier today. I don't know how long it was. I ended up watching maybe the last half an hour of it. I'm sure it was going for a while, but it was literally just raw footage of the Supreme Court doing their thing, listening to, I don't know if they're called expert witnesses. There's probably some name for what they call I think lawyers who were listening or coming up and presenting, but they would come up and present a position or a point of view, and then the justices would ask questions and clarify, and there was a back and forth, and you got to experience what the justices' awareness and attitudes were, and it was pretty insightful. And then I don't know the procedure that well, so definitely interesting. I've listened to some Supreme Court stuff before, but that doesn't hold my interest unless I have to. It's like I'll pay attention to this stuff as an obligation, but I'll forget it as soon as I can. So I appreciate the people that do have more of a focus on this stuff. And again, one of the challenges we've got is the frustration, and none of us wants to necessarily have to do this stuff, but we should all be able to do this stuff. What I'm going to work on this year with others is creating resources so that when necessary, we can master this stuff, and then we can forget about it because we know we can master it when we need to. We live in 2020. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't depend on experts only and then some kind of summary from other people. We should be able to do this the same way we master everything else. Like if we need to ship something or if we need to change our oil or fix a refrigerator, we can do it, right? So anyway, it's interesting listening to the live feedback or the live feed. And it was actually pretty neat to watch Jared's feed. I don't know if anybody was in there live. I know a couple of people, but with 3,000 something people watching live, the feed goes pretty quick. And Jared's familiar with doing that. He's done things like that before. So they have a pretty decent group over there too. Sometimes those things can be fairly rowdy. This was not necessarily all everybody wasn't on the same playing field or nothing. There was definitely some discussion and some different points of view in there, but for the most part, civil. I mean, definitely civil. I can't remember seeing anything weird. I've seen much weirder stuff before. So kind of an interesting experience this afternoon. I don't know if it's worth going back and listening to the whole thing, but if you're at all interested, he doesn't talk at all. Jared basically, every once in a while, he kind of giggles or says, yeah, silence or something like that, but there's very little commentary at all. So it's definitely a good feed. And if you're going to be watching it, then I imagine you could watch some of that text chat I was talking about. All right, so I don't know, nobody's really saying anything, so I don't think I'm missing anything over here, am I? If I'm missing something, let me know. Let's see, so next up is, why don't we do a commercial? Because I always forget to do these things, and then we don't have commercials in here. So do I have them in a nice little spot? I think I do. Here's the shortest commercial, the first commercial I ever made, and the shortest commercial I ever made. even shorter than I remember. So then let's go to this guy who does a show occasionally. It almost lets me take a drink of water. All right, so then we'll get to this one, Faas. So this guy does a show every other week. That's as much as the internet will allow. I guess he tried to do it every week, and they asked him to hold it off, just do it every other week. The ladies can only take so much. So this first show of 2022 was pretty decent. It's number 25 show for him. And pretty decent one. I think we had a good discussion. I certainly enjoy an overnight show. Man, I wish I could just do an overnight show. Tell you what, if I had unlimited funds and ability to do what I wanted, we'd be having an overnight show that would be like Art Bell, but with a group of people every single night, and it would be focused on 2A. It would be like Art Bell, except with werewolves and like Frankenstein. It would be, or aliens, I guess. It would be 2A and weird gun nerd stuff. Let's see. So then we'll eventually get there. That was the overnight. Then I should write notes because we had a great discussion. I think it was actually a pretty long one too. Oh, you're lucky I remembered to mute that time because that would have been loud. Clover's out there. Let's see. So, should I throw the link out? Does anybody want to jump in? I really got to hustle because as soon as Gary started after Cork and me, I only got like 40 minutes before everybody leaves. So I got to hustle. I'm not allowed to lollygag on this show no more. Let's see. So then, all right. So that's a bunch of stuff that's worth listening to, right? And now you get into the stuff that you might not want to hear. You're not going to want to hear some of this stuff. So this is, man, am I never going to remember how to say his name? I've listened to him say it before, but for some reason I can't remember. Yamane, I think. David Yamane. He's a professor. And he used to be called Gun Culture 2.0, I think. And now he's calling it light over heat. I'm watching. I'm trying to figure it out. I guess I don't understand what light over heat is, but I'm down. I'm watching. And so far, it's awesome. Like, so far, it's an excellent project to normalize gun ownership, especially with this whole new group of people and with the mindset of this new group of people. So if you're interested in seeing stuff and you're sick of me always talking about how the ladies are winning, this is a dude who's not a lady, and he's doing it in a different way, but he's winning. So he's got 677 subs, and he's doing it wrong because he's not listening to this dude. But, he's doing his thing, and it's decent. So check it out. Let's see. Then we get Sandhills. I watched Sandhills this week. I don't always watch Sandhills, but this one was a pretty good one. He had quite a few people on there, and a good group. Like, a bunch of people are super down with 2A, and the conversation kept going. Little bad news there. Sorry to hear. We've had actually quite a bit of bad news, and then unfortunately I know some stuff that's bad news that I'm not supposed to talk about from more than one person. So I don't like being in this position, but for people that are of the type to offer thoughts, prayers, good wishes, whatever, there's definitely people in our community that could use it right now. Let's put it that way. So definitely people that could use it. Let's see, Flight Society podcast. I'm trying to give them another shot this year. It's a new year, right? And then I think it's worth it. Let me know if you decide to give them a new look or if you've been watching them. I'm thinking you haven't because there's like 5 people that watch and I don't see anybody comment besides me and this couple other people I've never heard of before. They still cater to Facebook. I don't know why, but they've cleaned up their presentation. They're except for what's his face breathing into the mic, and still the video side of it's been pretty decent, and the editing or zooming back and forth. So the production side's upped quite a bit. They still focus on defensive use, and the subject matter is basically the same. Follow the news. So I'm going to give them another shot for this, as long as I can, and hopefully we'll monitor that. Let's see. So Again, give me some feedback on that one. I'm not here to nitpick, but at the same time, I want to see people get better every year, right? Speaking of getting better every year, Shelly Hill is a firearms instructor with her husband in Georgia. And back in the day, she hooked up with Cheryl Todd, who's like, positive energy that is optimistic without being unrealistic. So when people hang out with her for any length of time, they typically get motivated, and she encourages people to do things that are maybe more like for the world than for the short term. And without putting any ideas in the air, she just kind of lets people know that that's possible, that you can be successful while having a focus on the bigger, longer term picture. And I think that's the way Shelly Hill would probably describe her at least that's the way I'm summarizing what I've heard Shelly Hill describe as her initial meeting up with Cheryl Todd. And at the event they were at, she got inspired to bring people to Georgia, women to Georgia who are in the firearms industry, to give them a chance to mingle. Something else we're going to talk about here in a second, I guess I'll show the commercial for it. You'll get the idea that, and this will come up a lot, especially with people like Clover and others who are going to be covering SHOT Show. The industry events are often focused on the industry because they're industry events, and rightfully so. So when you attempt to do anything else or just add stuff, layers to that, it can become a challenge because people are already, got a agenda and a plan and everything in mind. They're sending their resources for the industry. So the mingle is an opportunity to bring these ladies in the industry together, but with a focus on, what would you call it, like networking and just getting to know each other. I think it'll evolve from what I understand or from what I'm seeing or what observing. It's changed into more of a training opportunity, skill training and up training, skill building and up training. But like firearms and instructor type stuff. But I believe there still is a focus on advocacy. I haven't heard that said, but I assume it's implied. But anyway, it's pretty cool. And I know that it's been one of the core fundamental things from the mingle when I first heard about it. So that was back in 2017. And, in 2017, it had been a couple of years after the initial kind of grassroots resistance to the executive orders by Obama and his reaction to the exploitation of Sandy Hook and all that. So, it had been a little while and we'd kind of lost the momentum and we'd seen no real ambition from Second Amendment advocates. So when I saw the mingle come along, I was like, right on, bringing ladies together with this focus on advocacy and getting their skills and just their networking, right? Getting them together. And here's the thing, outside of, I'm not trying to be a dick, but outside of an organization whose job is to get them to pay to get together, right? Like to charge them to get together. Shelly was, you had to get there, but it wasn't an event that you had to pay to be a part of necessarily. You had to pay to be there, but not like to be part of a club or something. So I just thought that was a cool way to bring people together in a different way than a membership type of thing. And the results of it, I think, have been interesting. So we'll have to be the judge by seeing the alumni and the after action or whatever the girls call after actions from these type of training events. So anyway, that's again, advocacy going forward into 2022, awareness of the growing diversity in every direction of firearms owners, these new firearms instructors that have a focus. Well, first, they don't have any dogma or weird traditions in their heads, as far as I can tell. I mean, they barely know where the instruction they're offering comes from, as far as I can tell, without being a dick again. But, so they certainly they're not tied up on any too many concepts, but they're definitely aware of the rights and the advocacy focus. So again, the students coming out of a class that has that kind of awareness, that kind of perspective, are going to be a different type of student. So looking forward to that, that environment. That's going to show in gun shops. It's going to show at the gun shows, and the kind of questions people ask, the kind of products they're looking for. We'll see it, different things on the shelves and more stuff on the shelves. All right, so next up, we're going to get Suicide Prevention Saturday, switching gears, but with a consistent focus on the prevention of suicide. 2 out of 3 firearms deaths associated with a firearm have nothing to do with violence. Well, unless you call suicide violence, and they don't have to do with crime. They have to do with people's mental health and their inability to deal with that, right, at a time of crisis. So there's ways that we can reach across the table. We don't have to work with anybody, but we can offer an honest reach across the table and say, if you'd like to work with us to prevent 2 out of every 3, 6 out of every 10, 60 out of every 100 deaths without having to attack our property at all, then let's work towards mental health awareness and suicide awareness and prevention. There's lots of things that are available every single month. I hear about new items every single week. Technically, Brooke brings stuff to the table, useful pieces you can bring to the toolbox to have better conversations with people or to just increase people's scope of awareness so that they can understand that there's a political agenda to gun control. It has nothing to do with shall not be infringed or any of that stuff. You don't have to bring any of that stuff up with people who don't get that. Instead, you can talk about how it's the lowest common denominator. It's the easy fix to just blow it off as a gun problem when there's really an underlying issue that's creating this stress and this crisis for people. And Brooke does a great job of, I'm probably blabbed more than her presentations. Most of the time she has something pretty succinct to offer, a tool that you can add to the toolbox, a consistent reminder that we have this tool available to us, this ability to tell the people who want to go after our property that if you'd like to actually prevent deaths, there's options, and the more and more ways to communicate to them, then check it out. Great channel to check out. She is this firearms instructor as well, so she's doing some pretty interesting things, doing some online courses. And then I thought she's done some pretty cool things, just kind of giving tours of her facility there. All right, so with that, we'll keep moving in another direction. We got the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus group in Minnesota focused on 2A, probably more than anybody else that we've mentioned. I mean, they're definitely more 2A. They're like the dark chocolate of 2A. Like if there's chocolate is 2A, all these other things have been high-end, really nice milk chocolate. But Minnesota is more towards the people that have to deal with dark chocolate. Like it's only for the connoisseurs of chocolate can deal with the real nerdy 2A stuff. So this is state level, 2A focused, basically their online meetings. So Virginia Citizens Defense League does quite a great job, and probably the most impressive job of having their meetings online in the open so that people can actually see it, literal transparency. Everyone can be in part of it, just like this show is live and you're communicating and being part of it. Minnesota does a pretty decent job of doing that as well. A little bit different way, but a good job of it. So this week, I only seen about half of it, and it was more of like him just saying stuff. And it didn't seem like, so I should have made some notes. I don't remember anything being like imminent. Let's see, let's go over here. Milk chocolate is barely chocolate. Let's be real. Chocolate is better than anything else, so milk chocolate is better than anything else. But yeah, milk chocolate is not as good as dark chocolate. Ghost is out there. Good evening. G23, did you just get here? Good evening. I'm surprised you're still up. I figured you might be taking a nap or sleeping. Let's see. Down for an overnight show. Do an overnighter. I just said I'll do it. I'm trying to restructure the Patreon a little bit, or I'm going to be restructuring the Patreon. That's on my short list, and we'll be able to incorporate that into the restructure over there. Hopefully that means, hopefully this means Clover will be there. We're going to be doing Ask Gun questions on Saturdays again, getting that fired back up, putting some oil on it, maybe some Aegis gun cleaning oil on it, perhaps. But I actually have an invite out to Dan Todd, who's a gun shop, well, I guess you could technically say he's still a gun shop owner, but recent gun shop owner for many years. He's owned a couple of different gun shops. He now has the Pot of Gold auctions, and I asked him if he'd like to join us for those Ask Gun questions. So if Clover's down, we'll have some shows with 3 of us that'll give us more, I don't know, eclectic group of answers to that show. I think you say she's coming home tomorrow. How long ago? I quit doing the Saturday show November or early December. I forget. The things got piled up trying to pay bills and stuff. All right, so let's keep going. Next is Armed Attorneys, which is a set of attorneys. It's actually like a dozen attorneys, but 2, maybe 3 of them do the videos. And it's what do you call that? A law firm in Dallas or somewhere in Texas. And I'm still figuring them out, but I think I like them. So this one was Don't Pawn Your Gun. I think have they gone live? They may have even gone live, but they're not super weird like the big law firm everybody's up on right now. This is a Texas-based one. They do both Texas-based stuff and national level stuff, and they do premieres a lot, I think, where they do like, hold on, they do like a 5-minute video as a premiere, and hold on, where they do like a premiere on these topics, so you kind of see their video coming, and then if you watch it live, I don't know if I've ever bothered to watch it live, but I do go back and watch them. They're usually only about 7 minutes long. And while they don't, I'm not going to say I agree with everything, because they're talking about things that have a spectrum, let's say, sometimes. Sometimes, though, it's like about that Texas 51%. I didn't know what that was. So listening, to 7 minutes succinctly about that is ideal. They're not hyping it up or wasting a bunch of time talking about this or that, selling T-shirts or something weird. So, yeah, I think they're pretty decent. Clover's saying he's hoping to have them on a podcast sometime. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to be at SHOT. Then we got Jaeger. He posted a video. He might have ALS. Pretty, like I say, there's a lot of stuff going on right now with folks. And he's one that's been public with it. He made a pretty decent video. I mean, the best you could probably do for something like that. Ask people, let people know the deal and ask them to leave it be. And, we're going to see that as we see people age and humans fall apart and do stuff that happens to us. The big sensational stuff will come and go, but the real channels that people care about and have audiences that care, we're going to see stuff happening here as people get older. And it's going to suck, but it's part of life. So, it's the part of the electronic stuff as it melds into the rest of our lives. We're going to meld into that stuff too. So I know a lot of people out there don't understand the dude for whatever reason. They don't get it. But again, one of the most solid people I know on the planet. All right. So next up is Echo. Just did a chat on 762x39. I mean, he's doing his thing, but it wasn't that much about 762x39. Echo was reloading while they were doing it. And they would talk, nuts and bolts about it every once in a while. But, it was not anywhere near enough 762x39 for some of us. They just talked about other things. It was a good chat, though. It was better than listening to nothing. Let's see. So anyway, worth watching. He did a part 1, and I totally missed that one back a while ago in December. The show makes me yawn all the time. It's probably just blabbing for this long. All right, so 34 minutes later, I guess, yeah, I've just been blabbing for half an hour. So next up is Safety Doc. Not really gun-related. I've mentioned Doc before. He's a cool dude, though, and he does, if somebody asks him a question about gun-related stuff, he's not an expert or nothing, but he's not as scared to address it if he can. And it's just an interesting show. He's trying to get the watch time up on his channel. So he's been going live on Fridays to kind of address some topics and kind of a general conversation. And for me, I do a lot of my some updates and stuff in front of the computer while he's on. So for me, it's great to have a live thing to listen to. My alternative would be watching Star Wars movie for the 1000th time or something, just to have some noise going. So definitely worth listening to. And if you have a specific question that has something to do with school or school safety, you can ask them. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Doc with first, if he's out there and if he's listening to this. I tried to type it in there, but with the topics that were coming up, I didn't want to like completely go off on a tangent. But at some point, I'll probably have Doc on as an interview when I start getting interviews going again, if he'll do it. And I'm going to be curious to watch Doc, now that we've seen him for a bit, kind of come along into the community, let's say. And as he experiences the Doctors for Responsible Gun Ownership, DRGO, and the doctors involved there, as well as Walk the Talk America, which is a doctor, gun owner, or gun community kind of bridge. So that has some, in the physician realm. And then the other one would be, dang it, I can't think of the third one. I'll think of it in a second. So anyway, as he experiences some of these other groups, it'll be cool to see what he thinks of them, and if he's able to work with something. Oh, faster saves lives, I guess would be the other one. Sorry, less with the doctors and more with the school safety side. And then, of course, I guess KidSafe up in Oregon. So yeah, as the safety doc finds those channels, and if he has them on or they have him on, that's sort of Clover's thing, the cross-pollination type of thing. He's got the school safety coming from the school administrator and the school of the blind angle. He's an author and brings all those experiences. A new YouTuber, really enjoying the YouTube live and the community. So just like this Echo, or what was it? Not Echo. Echo's new, I guess, also a little bit. But just like this, where'd they go? The Armed Attorneys. It's a new kind of cross-pollination coming in at a professional level, I guess, very similar in the same way, coming in as professionals into our realms. Well, that's awesome, because we've got professionals that are out there on YouTube, and they'll exploit guns when it suits them, but these are people that are more the armed attorneys at least are focused on firearms specifically. And then, like, say, Doc doesn't seem to hide from it or anything, even though he's not completely focused on it. Why don't we have another commercial? That'll give me a chance to quit coughing and have a drink again. Nobody asked for a commercial, so that you're going to get one from my friends in Connecticut, Alan Acorn.
We would like to say thank you to owlandanchor.com for great two-way items like these. Go to owlandanchor.com and place an order today.
All right, so if you need something made out of a decal or a sticker or one of them patches that you hear about on the internet, then Owl and Acorn or Owl and Anchor would be a good place to check out. Let's see. So then where do we get? Oh, so you shooting left center. Yankee does this chat every other week, just like Faas, and they're both in Washington. Coincidence? So Yankee does a show every other week. I only put it in here because it's the first one of the year. I guess we don't do it every other week, but we've been doing it every other week for a while now. Mainly because it's just a chance for us to shoot the shit. We used to chat a lot more, but I was just going to use that as an excuse to just mention that, we've been chatting. Him and me and Matt have been chatting since 2009, I think, in systems that existed before YouTube. And then in 2010 or 11, I went 10, I guess, when we figured out you could use YouTube to live chat. When they first offered it, we immediately started chatting. Me and Matt started chatting, and then Yankee figured it out. At that point, I was way bigger, and those guys kind of got bigger and bigger. And then now Yankee's massive. I don't know where Matt's at. Somewhere. Is he bigger than me yet? And then, they're off doing their thing. So it's kind of neat just having opportunity to go back and chat with people I've been chatting with for a long, long time. I mentioned it quite a bit that, there's cycles of people. So very few people stick around a long time. Let's see. So then we get 3D printing and the history of printing. Is this the doc? Yeah, I didn't label that very good. So Safety Doc had Rich on. Rich was in here earlier. I don't know if he's going to show up while we're chatting here now, but they had a conversation about 3D printing, and Doc has not printed before, but he's semi-curious or had been curious. So Rich was answering questions, and the people in the chat it was a live chat, so people were asking questions and getting them answered. So I would say, if you're going to be listening to something in the car or something, it's a good, without listening to a lecture, it's just a good conversation that answers a bunch of questions without being like scripted and prepared. So it's probably not going to cover every single thing you need to know, but if you're trying to learn it and you're more interested in having it kind of ease into it with a conversation, it's probably a good option, even though Flying Rich is in it. Let's see. Then I'm going to try playing this and see if I get copyrighted. Probably get copyrighted.
Let's be honest, trade shows are the worst place to develop relationships. Range days, they are much better.
So you can go watch the rest of that if you want, but that was interesting, and it's called the Two-Way Content Summit, and it was in Indianapolis, and I didn't even know it happened. So there you go. A Two-Way Summit happened in September of last year, and I didn't even know it, I think. I can't actually get much info on it, so I'm still kind of looking around. If it's something that's going to happen again, I want to definitely include it in the calendar and the almanac and stuff. But yeah, so definitely can use people's help. If you're out there noticing something, don't assume I've seen it. I'm definitely, it doesn't cost nothing to say, hey, did you know about this event? I heard about this by somebody doing that, which I appreciate it. But again, a couple of months too late to actually be able to help get the word out about it. One of our goals for 2022 is to get back into the mode big time. I got some people, DJ and some others, that are going to help with getting the calendars, kind of flexing the muscles on the calendars again, keep people aware of what's happening daily, but then also like a preview of what's coming. And I'd like to add to it just so that we're not sitting stagnant or just repeating what we've done before. Because we've done this before. I've done a pretty good job of doing like an entire year's worth of stuff on the Instagram from the calendar. And I've had the calendar running now pretty much daily since, for a long time. But the calendar always needs work. It always can add more stuff to it. And it's always a bit of a chore to keep it updated. But once it's updated, it's, constantly out there keeping people aware. But what I'd like to do is go back. I think this was DJ's idea, actually, going back and doing a bit of a review every once in a while. Maybe not on the yearly anniversary, I guess I should say maybe on the first of the year necessarily. People seem to freak out when you do resolutions or do yearly wrap-ups, with that anniversary. So maybe in July or just some random time, we'll go back and just take a pause and look backwards, because you can't really evaluate well if you're not actually paying attention to your wins and losses and learning from mistakes, right? That's how we get it done, right? So anyway, I guess I missed Two-Way Summit last year. Can't win them all. So next up is the Pot of Gold auction. That was actually pretty fun. It was frustrating, super frustrating, but I have contacted Pot of Gold auction, and I will be posting some of my stuff, my collections, in the Pot of Gold auctions, in the upcoming auctions. Very much looking forward to that. Should be a lot of fun, and I want to make some money. So I've got all kinds of stuff. I'm offloading everything, and a lot of my stuff, wouldn't work on eBay, and I really didn't want to put it on Gunbroker. And I really like the way their auction thing works. So we'll see how it goes, and stay tuned for basically everything. Just a matter of how I can figure out the best way to kind of get it all up there. But I'm really looking forward to clearing stuff out and paying off some debt. Let's see. So then we get, this is us. So we spent some time going through and looking at Made in the USA gear yesterday, day before. Went live and dug into basically a list of all the firearms manufacturers that we came up with, a year ago or so, and just resorted it in a way resorted and filtered, resorted it into states instead of alphabetical, and then evaluated whether or not they were going to be at SHOT Show. So we basically have an abbreviated list of U.S. firearms manufacturers that will be at SHOT Show. So in other words, we left out like the manufacturers that are foreign, and we left out the manufacturers that aren't going to be at SHOT Show. Just as an exercise, because why not? Made in USA is cool, keeps people working here. It keeps our products innovating, and they're strong, so why not? And then it's not like we're hurting anybody made in another country. People are still going to go to SHOT, and they're still going to see those booths. I just don't have to, we didn't have to shine a light at them. But let's see. So then the last one is Robot Puppy 3D printing. I just actually, oh no, I didn't. I'm about to put those up on the Gear website store. I guess I should have put them up before this show. I wasn't even thinking. But like I said, I was doing other stuff. So I guess I'm going to quickly go to the top here. I guess that's the thumbnail for this video, is that little puppy robot looking toy I made. So continuing, usually on Gizzard Show is when I take a few hours to practice with the 3D software, or sometimes else if I just need a break, I'll jump into somebody's show. So I think I did that dog in somebody's show, didn't I? But anyway, that's one of the new 3D prints this week. I got a couple, well, I got like dozens more in mind, just need some time to work on them. So how was this week for 2A? Some people said it was a good week for 2A. Most people said it was an okay week. And then, let's see, 8 votes. Was that 1 vote for not a good week? Well, that person wasn't paying attention, because it was certainly a good week. As far as like the okay part of it, I guess for me, it was definitely one of the better weeks. Actually, one of the best weeks ever. I mean, I had definitely some negative stuff happen for sure, and I'm broke. But aside from that part, there was some good stuff happen, like some good. I mean, I'm psyched for 2022. So I'm saying good week. Now the next question is, since the thing is going, should we IG tonight? Here's what happens: we IG eventually, but if you're all super stoked to get over to his Gizzard about to cork me, after cork me, Gizzard is just lurking right over me. He's biting me right now by hovering over me and sniffing. And I'm going to put in here, come on, man. So I feel like a lot of pressure, and it's very awkward to have Gizzard after corking me. But should we IG tonight? And you know what IGing is if you know what this show. God dang it, I'm doing this wrong. You serious? Come on. There we go. So let us know if you want to IG. There's 13 people out there. We only got 8 votes for the, oh no, we got 12 votes for the other one. Okay, I guess there's only one government narc out there. Who do you think the government narc is? They probably don't have, they probably have a name like Agent 651 or something. So we'll see if we're going to IG. Otherwise, we'll end it. Let's see. So I was going to say about the 3D printing. The new Robot Puppy, let's see, Robot Space Puppy is going to be up on the store. I've already got it bagged and packaged. The Allen Anchor laser, I got the okay today that I can sell the laser. So that means there's 2 Allen Anchor lasers going up. Problem is, I could not force her, and I mansplained the shit out of her. I also threatened her, and I bullied her, but she still wouldn't like come up with one of those patches. I tried to get a deal where if I sold the 3D laser to somebody, that I could auction off like a patch, or somehow there could be a patch involved, but I guess evidently all those patches are gone. So if you got one of them laser patches, there's only 100 of them. Luckily I got one, and I'm not giving you mine, but we're going to come up with some other stuff in the future. But there are 2 of the lasers going to be up on your websites tonight. All right, so what do we got? 4 votes. Look, God, it's very contentious. Right now, it's 2-3. It's 2-2, technically. So we're going to need to get at least 10 votes out of the however many are out here. Oh, we're look at how we're hemorrhaging viewers to Gizzard. This is ridiculous. Gizzard is basically like that, what's that one food place where you get the chicken sandwiches? He's hanging out with those people. He's going into my line where people are over here and my thing, and he's handing out chicken sandwiches or something. Well, we're not getting any more votes, so I guess we're ending it. That's what happens when you don't participate. Everything ends. It comes to a complete stop because of lack of participation. All right, well, so that tells us that there you go. So we will end. Is it because of Gizzard? No. Is he after corking me? Yes. Is he biting me? Yeah. But is it his fault? That's up to you to decide. I'm just sitting here telling you the facts. Let's see. All right. End it. Smuggy saying end it. All right. At this point, we're going to end it. I'll throw the link out there. We can after chat it. We can talk crap about Gizzard the whole time. Or, nah, I'm not going to throw a link out there. I got a bunch of work to do. I'm going to go back to the work I was doing. So stay tuned for some stuff. Like I say, I've had some excellent conversations going on. I had to pull everything off of eBay, and it won't go back up until after SHOT Show. I'm not actually guaranteed I'm going to SHOT Show yet, but in case, I don't want a bunch of eBay auctions ending the day I'm leaving kind of thing. So that means I got to drop my eBay auctions to not show up for 2 weeks, which is super fun when you're broke to not have any eBay auctions going. So anybody that wants to jump over to Patreon, this is an awesome month to jump over to Patreon. We're going to be reformatting it here this weekend, and you'll be able to support the Daily Gun Show, which may or may not be coming back daily. We'll be able to support the weekly show, but also the calendar. And then potentially, if you'd like to see us get back on the road and checking out gun shops and gun shows and those firearms museums that I haven't seen, which I have invites to, then maybe even that as well. If you'd like to see us get to SHOT Show, it's a great time to purchase something over at the store, grab something on eBay. We have shirts over at the, what do you call that place? The print on demand deal. If you just scroll to the bottom of any of our videos, you can buy posters, mugs. We basically get $5. Anything you buy over here is basically going to give us $5. So, except for some of these things, like if it's 42, I might get like $12 or something, because I basically set everything to $42 for some reason. $42, and then 1984 because of, well, 1984 kind of kicked ass. So with that, we'll end it. If you go over to Gizzards, give them the bird, and I guess I could drop a link to that. If you go over to your subscriptions, you'll find Gizzard right here. He's going live in 4 minutes. We'll let that guy end us tonight, and we'll say thanks again for tuning in. If you leave us, if you're not, I'll appreciate that. Somebody just bought something over at the store. Tell you what, if you buy something, it's Free Patch Friday. Every order that goes out today will get a Tony Simon 2A for E. I have a bunch of those. I just saw a stack of them over there when I was farting around. So appreciate that purchase. We did have somebody purchase something earlier from eBay. They'll get, I don't know if they're listening or not, but they'll get one of the 2A for E's. And anybody who buys something during Gizzard Show, even though it's after corking us, you'll get a one of those as well, a 2A for E. Snap. Second order. That's awesome. Appreciate that very much, really. And then we'll throw this last commercial out for the store, and then we'll send you over to Gizzards' show, who's after corking us. GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com. Just had another one. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching GunWebsites.com.